Like, this already looks like it would be like a sick 2D platformer, wouldn't it? Alright, so I'm not sure how many of you know this, but I'm actually a massive fan of like 2D platformer games, like specifically Cuphead, right? I don't know if you have played Cuphead or not, but there was like a time where it was like really popular, right? Like, you know, people were making songs about it and everything. And when I still went to school like a year ago, I would actually play Cuphead on my laptop and not really pay attention in class, which, you know, worked out for me in the end, so that's kind of fun. But that kind of left me thinking, like, could I make a old 2D platformer but in Roblox? So what I'm talking about is, like, right now if I play Roblox, we have the basic character, right? Now he's chilling, he's moving around and everything, but what I want to do is I want a game that basically like kind of looks like this, where it's still Roblox, but you have like, you know, the character can only move, you know, in this direction, and perhaps maybe instead of like doing this like smooth turnaround, maybe the player just instantly looks in the other way. Like, you know, a lot of these 2D games, the sprites just instantly move, like everything kind of snaps together, right? And of course I can kind of mimic this with the camera movement, but the problem is that this just doesn't fully work because number one, I can move the camera around. Number two, the player can just move forward and backward, which a 2D game probably shouldn't let you do that. And so this just left me thinking, like, would it be possible to turn Roblox into an actual 2D platform? And so the very first thing that I obviously have to do is I have to make a script, right? Specifically a local script, because I want to change the camera and the movements of our player. Which, now that I say that, we probably should actually move this into a starter character, because character is like the actual 3D model of our player. So basically, whenever a character loads in, this script will be put inside of, and anything inside of the script will be ran. So here's the first line I'm gonna say: workspace.currentCamera, camera type is equal to camera type scriptable. And what this does is it basically disables the default camera and lets us script our own camera. So if I play the game, we should still see things, but yeah, like I can't move anything around. And if I move the character, I can move the character, but the camera doesn't follow the character. So while the camera exists, we actually have to script the movement ourselves. And let's actually just do exactly that. I'm going to use something called game run service, which, in case you don't know, is effectively a way to update something really, really quickly. So run service.render step connect function, what this does is any single code that we write inside of here will basically be ran every single frame. So obviously, if we want to, you know, constantly update the camera, this is how we do it. So what I'm going to do is I want to make a variable for the position of the character, or specifically the position of the main root part of the character. In case you don't know, and this is going to cause an error right now. Yeah, there we go. But in case you don't know, every single character has this thing called the humanoid root part, which is like an invisible box that's like in the middle of the character. So I need to get the position of that, right? Now, because this local script will be inside of the character, I'm going to say local hum position, so humanoid position, is going to be equal to script.parent. So again, because this is inside of the character, script.parent is going to be the character itself. Then I'll say script.parent dot humanoid root part, like so. Or I guess we could actually say wait for child humanoid root part, just so we ensure that it's actually like loaded into the game. Dot position, like so. And then I'm going to say workspace.currentCamera.cFrame is going to be equal to cFrame.new. And this is where we need to give it two things, right? The first thing we need to give it is the actual position of the camera, and then we need to give it the position that we want the camera to actually look at. So the first thing we need is the position, which is a vector3.new, which is just an x, y, and z value. And obviously, because we want this to be 2D, one of these should not be altered. So basically what I'm trying to say here is that if we have a character over here, right, if the character moves like left and right, I want the camera to follow that, right? Or if the character jumps or whatever, or falls down, I want the camera to also follow that. I want the camera to follow this direction and this direction. However, I don't want the camera to follow forward and backward, right? And this is where we honestly have to kind of guess which axis is which. I mean, let me just try this. Let's say humanoid position.x, humanoid position.y. So this camera will follow the x and the y of the humanoid, but not the z. So let's set z to be something like 15. So, okay, let's see. So it follows the character like that. Oh yeah, but look at that. When the character moves forward and backward, the camera doesn't follow the character. That's actually very interesting, right? So if I, if I move it like this, it's all fine. but not like this. That's actually really cool. But okay, two things, right? Number one, again, we need to give it the position that we want it to look at, which is the actual character. So it's a humanoid position. And this way, it's always gonna look at the character. And in this case, it's gonna like result in some stuff like this, where like I can actually walk into the camera and kind of move to another angle. But again, we don't want this, right? I only want the character to move left and right. I don't want the character to be able to like move forward and backward. And this is actually something that's very easy to change. Roblox has this thing called context action service, which basically like has all of the actions that the player could do. So for example, like, can the player move forward? Can the player move backward? Can the player move left? Can the player move right? Can the player jump? Blah, blah, blah. And what we could do is we could unbind action. And I've actually looked this up because look, I'll be honest, I didn't actually really even know this thing existed. Like, I know I'm writing a bunch of code right now, but like, this is confusing to me as well, right? So in case you're watching, you're like, like, I want to see the result, but this is kind of confusing. I'm not too sure what he's doing. Don't worry, neither am I. You're not missing out on anything. But basically, I looked up that I can unbind the actions of moving forward and back. So I can say move forward action. I believe that's what the Roblox calls it. And then there's also a move backward action, right? So move backward action, not action. There we go. So if I play the game like this, what should happen is that, oh yeah. So I'm clicking W and S right now, but nothing's happening. So I cannot move forward or backward. I can only move left and right. Oh man, I actually really like this. I don't know why, this just feels cool. And if you might remember, I also said earlier that I don't quite like how he like spins like that. Like, I don't know, in a lot of 2D platformers, like, you know, Cuphead, like I said, they just kind of instantly like look in the other direction. Like, they don't like have this thing where they like turn around. Like in a 2D game, you're not gonna have a character looking directly at you. He's gonna be looking either left or right. And so the way that I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna say game, user input service, input began, connect function. We're gonna get the input, and I'm only gonna account for keyboard here. Like, I know people on mobile might be playing, but for keyboard, I'm gonna say if input.keycode is equal to A, then, and then I'm also gonna check else if imp.keycode is B, then we're gonna do something else. So on my keyboard, A should be used for the player to go left, and D should be used for the player to go right. And so what we would have to do then is we would have to take the humanoid root part. So I'm gonna just, you know, take this over here. Or actually, no, I guess we can make a variable. So local hum is equal to humanoid root part. And something that you can do with variables, which is a little like cool tip for developers, is that when Roblox knows what a variable should be, like for example, if I say workspace dot baseplate, Roblox knows that this is a part, right? So it lets me autofill the properties of a part. Like for example, transparency, color, the size, whether it was touched or not. Like it lets me autofill this. But the problem with something like this is that Roblox doesn't actually know what this hum is supposed to be. Like, yeah, I know like here it's very obvious what this is supposed to be, but Roblox doesn't know. So what you can do is you can say colon part, like so. So now we're telling Roblox that this variable should be a part. So if I type the variable, now it's gonna autofill the correct terms. Because if I don't do this, it's not gonna autofill the correct terms, right? And again, this isn't necessary, but it just kind of saves time and also lets me know for a fact that what I'm typing is actually correct. So I'm gonna say hum.cframe is equal to cframe.new, and we don't want to change the position, so I'm gonna say hum.position, right? Again, we want the position to remain the same, but we want the orientation to be different. And this is where we genuinely just have to play around. Like, I don't know what the exact degrees that we want to rotate. I don't know what axis we want to rotate. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to assume that it's going to be 90 degrees X, and I'll just say 0 degrees Y and 0 degrees Z. And then I'm going to do the same thing, but for D, and obviously we have to reverse this. And again, I'm not sure how this is going to work, but like just for fun, let's see if this works. So, okay, the player's looking there, and if I press D, oh, okay, look at that. Yeah, so I press D and he like looks in the other direction. Yeah, and so if I just keep pressing D, we just have something that looks like this. Okay, and if I press A, yeah, see, so it turns to the other direction. Okay, so this is very good because it means that I got the axes correct, it means that I got the angles correct, and it also means that I got the degrees correct, but I just didn't get the negative correct. So this should be negative 90 and this should be positive 90. And if I do it like this, oh, look at that. Oh man, that is very cool. Look at that, it just instantly shit. Oh man, Yeah, I really like this. And a small thing, like I'm not a big fan of how he just kind of looks over there. So what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna take this line, I'm gonna move it on top here, and instead of humanoid, I'm just gonna take this line, put it over here like so. So when we start playing the game, the character should be facing, yeah, there we go, look at that. And I'll actually zoom out the camera a bit more, so I'll say 30 instead of 15. So we should end up with, oh man, look at that. That is so nice. Yeah, so we already basically made a platformer. Like, yeah, we need like parts and everything, but like look at that. Isn't that cool? Now, my character is very bulky, so it's kind of hard to see what's going on. So what I'll actually do instead of using my character is I'm going to make a blocky avatar, and then I'm going to call this blocky avatar starter character, like so. And I'm going to place it inside of starter player. And what this does is when you place a character with this exact name inside of starter player, then every single player will have this character. So the next time I play the game, I'm going to have the default character. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, so as you can see, this character isn't really bulky, so we can actually see like all the movements. Look at that. That just looks so natural, doesn't it? That is very cool. Again, I'm not too sure exactly why, but like this just looks really nice. I really like this. All right, so I play tested this for a bit longer and actually added these two lines of code. So let me just separate them over here just so you can see them better. This is exactly the same line of code both here and here. But basically what this does is, let me just comment them out so I can actually show you what it was like without these lines of code. A small problem that I've noticed is like if I wanted to change like direction, like the camera still like kind of, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it didn't like instantly switch. Like it's like I'm switching directions, but it feels like the camera is like it's difficult to explain, but I hope that you can see, right? It's like very like smoothly changing itself. And this is even more noticeable when you jump and try and change a direction. So if I jump right now and then I try to go the other way, look at that, see? There's like a lot of resistance to that. But a lot of 2D platformers, they never really had that, right? They just instantly allow you to change your direction even if you're midair. And again, I know this makes it more realistic because obviously it's hard to change direction midair. But what I want to do is just whenever the player changes direction, I just want them to be able to just go the other way full speed. I don't want there to be like some sort of halts or whatever. And so this is why I added these lines. So the humanoid root part, every single part has a thing called assembly linear velocity. And I looked this up before like a while ago. I still don't know exactly what this does, but what I did here is I basically set the X and the Z of the assembly linear velocity to 0, which means that every single drag on the part gets reset, right? So the part isn't being dragged by anything, meaning that you're just able to walk like normally at full speed without having any like resistance. And the reason I didn't do the same thing for Y, so the reason I kept Y to be like what it is initially, is because when I set Y to 0, if you jump up and if you start to like quickly change directions, like here, let me show you, right? If I just set these to be 0, what happens is that, so here, like let's say you're running. So what happens is that if I jump right now and if I start to quickly switch directions, look, see? So like it does something like this, like a little helicopter thing, which I guess actually could be like a fun little ability, but like this kind of messes up the game. Especially the problem is that if you jump and then instantly change direction, it just doesn't let you jump at all. So like if I jump right now and then I try to change direction, look at that, see? It doesn't let me perform the full jump because it's setting the Y to be 0. But again, if I don't do that, and if I only change the X and the Z, then I'm able to do the jumping normally, and everything's fine. And the only thing that's actually changed is the X and the Z. And yeah, look at that. So if I change direction mid-jump, there's no drag. I'm just able to go in the other direction at full speed, and this just looks a lot better. Okay, and so now, let me actually see. All right, so the spawn location is pointed that way, so it's pointed forward, right? But it should be pointing to the right side. Okay, so if we align the spawn location here, yeah, see here it's pointing forward, so in a real game, the player would spawn here, and we could probably just add platforms for the player to jump on, because like I actually want to start like making this into like a real platformer game. So just for fun, here's how I'm gonna do something like this, right? Let's see. We just have very, very basic steps, right? Baby steps. I mean, quite literally. And then yeah, I guess just let's copy these and just, I don't know, put them up here. So okay, just for fun, let's see how this works, right? Yep, look at that. That is cool. Yeah, I mean, this literally looks like a regular platformer. Now, something that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy these, right? I'm gonna shift them to be, yeah, so I'm gonna do something like this. And basically what I want to add is I want to add some sort of objective for the player. And I'm specifically thinking of some sort of coin. So here, let me just rename this to coin. Because you know how like every old 2D platformer like uses coins as like something that you should be collecting. So yeah, I guess we could just make this neon like so. And so yeah, we could just, I don't know, rotate the part around around like this, and then we can move it up over here. This is actually very interesting to me because this also kind of shows how real 2D platformers are made, like recently, right? Because like, you know, they actually have to work with like a real 3D world. So, you know, they get to actually see like how all of this looks. That's actually pretty cool. Like I didn't expect this video to be like a real insight, but like if you were ever curious as to how these games are made, here you go. So, okay, we have the coin here, and what I'll do is I'll just add a script inside of it, and I'll just say script.parent.touched connect function. And this will give us the other part that touched it, which right now we don't really need. So I'm just going to say script.parent destroy. So whenever this coin gets touched, it's going to get destroyed. And what I'll do is I'll also remove the collision because the player might touch it and then the part disappears. But if you touch something, you still collide with it, right? So then the player will just fall down. So I'll remove collision so the player will be able to like walk through the coin, but he can still touch the coin. So you'll still be able to like collect it. And now what I'm thinking is I still want this thing to like actually move around. And, you know, we could make like a smooth animation where like it kind of rotates like this, but like these games never had smooth animation, right? Like they had this very like I keep using this word, but like snappy animation, you know, where it was like this. So I mean, let me see if I check the orientation right now. The X is 0, Y is 90, Z is 90. If I change it like this, okay, so if you look here, like if I rotate it like this, it changes the Y axis. So basically all I have to do then is just in a script, I need to add 45 degrees to the Y axis every like 0.5 seconds or something. So let's actually try this out. While task.wait, I guess let's do 0.7 seconds. 0.7 seconds, do script.parent.rotation plus equals vector3.new 0, 45, 0. So just for fun, if I run the game, let's see. Oh, damn, wait. All right, small issue. I forgot this thing to be anchored. But if I run it again, let's see. That's probably not what is supposed to happen. Okay, wait, what if I do like this? What if, that's weird, right? Okay, so I guess it's the other axis. I honestly have no idea why it was Y before, but oh, I just realized. It was because I was using rotation instead of orientation. And look, I'll be honest, bro, I don't know the massive difference between the two, but I used orientation, so 45, and if I run the game right now, let's see. Yeah, there we go, look at that. So now that works. And it's moving actually very slowly, so let me just do something like this. Let's just speed it up. Yep, there we go. But let's make it a bit faster. 0.1. Yep, there we go. Alright, so I just updated how the coin looks. I think this actually looks really nice, so let me just show you. Look at that. That's very cool. I'm actually quite proud of how this one turned out. And yeah, so if I just play the game like this, failed to load plugin, whatever. Let's see. Look at that. Okay, so we're going up, right? And look at that, we have a coin. And we gotta collect it. Damn, okay. Okay, I guess I made this a little too difficult, so let's just move this up here. And okay, let's try again, right? A jump up, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got a coin, and we jump to get it. Oh, wait. There we go. Got the coin. Now we're just going back down. And congratulations, we have successfully won the game. And we can just have a bunch of these coins just all over the place, right? We could have one here. We could have like one, I don't know, here. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Like, I'm not gonna collect any of them, but like if I just look like this already looks like it would be like a sick 2D platformer, wouldn't it? There we go. Coin collected, coin collected, coin collected. Oh wait, there we go. Coin collected and coin collected. There we go. Amazing. Yeah, honestly, I'll be honest, I'm actually happy with this result. I was gonna like add more things. Like I wanted to do something where like the actual animation of the player was like low frame rate. Like I wanted to like make my own animations. But like I said, I'm actually really happy with how this turned out. I guess just for fun, what if I make the camera even further back? Let's do like something like 50. Oh yeah, look at that. Now we can actually see everything. This is so cool. I don't know why. Yeah, again, coin collected, coin collected, coin collected. You know, the one thing that it's missing is like the little like ching sound effect. You know, my character just fell. Damn. Yeah. Yeah. So again, okay. So yeah, I guess the game does have some little bugs. So that's probably something that could be fixed. But yeah, I mean, I actually see a lot of potential in this. Like, I actually might turn this into like a real game that people can play. Or, you know, if you're a developer, you know, feel free to use this as like a little tutorial, like a little template, and maybe you can make a game of your own. Which, look, if you do, like, you could credit me, I don't really care. But do join the Discord server and just kind of like, I don't know, like send screenshots of like the stuff that you're doing, because I think a lot of people would like find that really interesting. I will also say that if you are a beginner, so this is a quick shameless plug. I have a course where I just teach everything that I know about Roblox Studio. It's $30. It's like around 7 hours long. So if you're a fan of my teaching style and you have, you know, $30 to spare, you can check out the link in the description and the pinned comment. There's a free preview. You don't need an account. You don't need a credit card. You could check out some like early units, and if you like them, then you could, you know, spend $30 on the course. But yeah, like I said, do leave a comment. Like, let me know what you thought of this. Like I said, I really like the way that this works. I wonder what like abilities you can make in the game like this, because I feel like a lot of Roblox abilities kind of rely on the game being like, you know, 3D. I mean, as a matter of fact, actually, a lot of Roblox relies on being 3D. Like Tycoon, simulators, like so many games rely on the 3D aspect. So yeah, if you can think of like a cool ability that you can add, or like maybe a cool feature that you think a game like this could use, again, do leave a comment. So yeah, I mean, look, I had a lot of fun making this. You know, hopefully you learned something as well. Hopefully this was also entertaining. I definitely will come back to this, and I will make this into more of like a real game. I'll just call this 2D platformer for now. Made by the best YouTuber ever. There we go. So yeah, I mean, if that is something you're interested in, do subscribe. You know, if I do end up working on the game more, I definitely will post more videos and more updates about it. So like, do subscribe if that's something that you want to see. Or I mean, even if you don't want to see that, I guess subscribe anyway, because I'm awfully close to a silver play button, which I know is like the least of your concerns right now. But I mean, like, it's cool, you know, like a play button, I don't know, it's shiny. It'd be nice to have. And I feel like it would feel pretty cool for you to kind of know that like you contributed to the creation of the Byte Blocks silver button. Or maybe I'm just rambling right now. I don't know. But again, I had a lot of fun making this, you know, comment what you think. And as always, we're back to basics. Thank you for watching.